Alright, let's break down how a single economic move by the US may have handed China an even bigger foothold in Africa. So here's what happened. Under President Trump, the US slapped new tariffs on several African countries. These weren't just any tariffs, they were some of the highest export charges Africa's ever faced from the US. Officially, the Trump administration called them reciprocal, but in reality, they were based more on America's trade deficit numbers, not actual tariff rates Africa was charging. Now let's look at why this matters. Trade is a lifeline for many African economies. Take South Africa, one of Africa's powerhouses. When the US imposed a 30% tariff on their exports, South African officials pushed back, saying the numbers just didn't add up. Imagine being a citrus farmer or an auto worker there. Suddenly, hundreds of thousands of cartons of fruit are just sitting there, unsold, or car factories are at risk. It wasn't just South Africa. Lesotho, a small nation heavily reliant on textiles, got hit with a 15% tariff after facing a whopping 50% initially. This, plus a sudden halt in US aid, basically knocked the legs out from under industries that supported thousands of families. Lesotho's government even declared a national state of disaster. Now here's where it gets interesting. China stepped in. While the US was raising tariffs, China went the opposite direction, scrapping charges on imports from nearly every African country. On paper, this sounds like a win for Africa. No tariffs, more open trade, right? But, like Nigerian economist Bismarck Ruane put it, America's hardline stance has driven African nations straight into the hands of China. But here's the catch. China's trade with Africa isn't exactly balanced either. China mostly sells finished products to Africa and buys raw materials in return. Some experts warn that if African countries rely too heavily on China, their own industries could be swamped by cheaper Chinese imports, making it tough for local businesses to compete, especially in price-sensitive markets. So, what's the way out? Many experts say the real solution is for African countries to trade more with each other. The African Continental Free Trade Area, or AfCFTA, was set up to do just that. But progress has been slow. Only about 20 out of 55 African nations are fully on board so far. In the end, these tariffs may have been aimed at fixing a trade imbalance, but they've ended up redrawing Africa's global alliances. It's a real-time lesson in how trade policy can shift the balance of power, often in unexpected ways.